All right, helping. Welcome back to another edition of the New York Power Hour, guys. I'm excited to be here. We are winding down the Major League Baseball scene, getting closer and closer to the playoffs. And then also, we're on the eve of the beginning of the National Football League season. So you've got the Jets and the Giants. I'm not sure how much you guys are looking forward to their seasons, but they are on the verge of the start of their season. We're only a little over a month. We're not even about a month away from the start of the National Hockey League. Um, about what 7 or 8 weeks from the Knicks coming back, so it's a busy time in New York. And not to mention, you have the top 10 preseason ranked St. John's Red Storm. I'm excited for what's going on up there in the Big Apple sports scene. So let's hit it, guys. What do you want to talk about tonight?
All right, so let's kick it off with some fun stuff. I checked my notes; there are none. So actually, we're just gonna be miserable for an hour. No, so with there's not as you're. I mean, you hit on everything that's going on. All right, football's about to start, and at least as a fantasy football person, I'm excited because fantasy football makes me happy. So we can talk about football. Nothing on the hockey front, the basketball front yet. All quiet there for now until we get some more fun. At Mets and Yankees, we do this for hours every single week, so at least we'll be able to bother each other on that. It's good to be here, boys. It's good to have Peter back now too, as he is now alive and
Peter.
visible on stream again, which is good. So I mean, let's there's some quick Jets Giants stuff to talk about. That that we love to make Peter miserable on the show, so we can start with the fact that the Jets reported today that Elijah Vera Tucker, one of their top guards on the line, who affects their run game a lot, may have suffered a season-ending tricep injury, and that weakens their line a lot. Now, the Jets were talking about running a run-heavy offense through Breece Hall and Justin Fields, who's like read option quarterback, and the Jets' offensive line with Elijah Vera Tucker was one of the best in the league in terms of run game, and without him, they're bottom three in the league. So, Peter, I know you like to talk about how the Jets are cursed. I mean, this probably didn't shock you.
No, I'm actually shocked that they went through all of training camp without any major injuries, and then they didn't, as it turns out. Yeah, probably like the worst guy you could lose on your offensive line, especially like I don't think we're all expecting great things out of Justin Fields. At least I'm not. So you have to rely a lot on Breece Hall. If you ask your average fantasy football player, they think that Breece Hall is going to have a down year. Well, with Tucker going down, looks like they're going to be right.
Yeah, if you're a Jets guy in fantasy, I mean, right now their starting quarterback is Justin Fields. Their running back is Breece Hall. A lot of people think Braylon Allen's going to have a big part. Their wide receiver one is Garrett Wilson. Their wide receiver two is a former Lion, Josh Reynolds. Luke, you're probably familiar with him, right? And so they're not exactly looking the strongest on paper. I am a Justin Fields guy. I do think it's fun. I mean, I'm a Jets guy and by default because I live here, and I'm a Saints fan by nature. Both of my teams, I don't think, are going to be doing jack shit this year. So I will say it is sometimes fun to go into a season with basically no expectations.
Is it
Like,
though?
because look, what else? What are we going to be sitting there thinking that the Jets are going to somehow turn into like Super Bowl contenders overnight? They're not. Right?
No,
Let's
but
the Giants,
there's a,
right?
listen. I'm sick of no expectations. The Jets haven't made the playoffs since 2010. I already know what that feels like. But like as far as some of those guys go, probably the only guy I think is going to have strong now that Tucker's hurt. I think that kind of kills Breece Hall's fantasy value. The only guy in the Jets for fantasy that I'm even remotely interested is Garrett Wilson because he showed that no matter who his quarterback is, with the exception of Tim Boyle, who I do not know how Tim Boyle ever made it to the league, he'll still put up very productive numbers. So I think he'll still be fine. Everybody else, though, if they're not even worth a pickup on the waiver wire for back.
I disagree completely with that, actually, because
What, but that Tim Boyle should be in the league?
no, Tim Boyle is terrible, but that part is actually very valid. But if you look at fantasy football drafts and average draft pick right now, Justin Fields is readily available as a backup quarterback. And whether you think he sucks in real life, because he's so mobile, he is a great bye-week replacement quarterback in fantasy football. He has always been a great bye-week replacement in fantasy football. And God forbid he actually put something together, he could be useful. I mean, for the time that he played last year when he was starting, he was QB9. I just want to explain that to people. He was QB9. He was a top 10 quarterback while he was starting last year. That's not even replacement level. That's a guy that you want in a 12-team league as your quarterback. And so his rushing upside makes him a playable guy, even with the line being a little bit weaker. I'm not saying like you need to draft him as your QB1, but you absolutely could do worse as a backup quarterback in picking up Justin Fields, especially where his ADP is. Breece Hall, because of the fact that people are thinking that Braylon Allen is going to cut into his time because his numbers were down last year a little bit, do remember that as explosive as he looked at times, he was still coming back from an ACL injury. And everyone in football takes a year to return to their prior form, and his numbers were still starting RB1 available coming back from that injury. In PPR leagues where he's a big reception guy because he's got great hands, I wouldn't be avoiding Breece Hall. I don't think he's going to do great because of the fact, again, AVT makes the rushing line much better, so it's not like he's going to be amazing, but I wouldn't necessarily avoid Breece Hall. And Garrett Wilson, if you look at Justin Fields' comparison when he played with the Bears and he had DJ Moore, he made DJ Moore a very, very strong fantasy wide receiver 1. And Garrett Wilson, I believe, is more physically talented than DJ Moore, so I feel pretty comfortable running Garrett Moore out there. So I'm not like, I get the doom and gloom. You're not wrong, right? Like, I don't even know if the Jets are going to have anywhere close to a winning record this season. But if we're talking fantasy-wise, I mean, there are going to be value moments in there, I think. I mean, in deep leagues, if you're playing like 14 or 16-team leagues like me, you might be even thinking about Josh Reynolds for a bit because he is their starting wide receiver too, and he has started in the league before. He might be something. Dynasty-wise too, the Jets drafted a guy in the 4th round that everybody hates, in Arian Smith, which I think is hilarious because he's a speedster and everyone says he has terrible hands. Preseason and camp results have been that he's actually worked on those hands. Do I believe that? Probably not. But, you could do better in your 20th round, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And they also drafted a tight end prospect in Mason Taylor, who in a position here in Dynasty might actually matter because, I mean, we haven't really seen a good tight end for the Jets, maybe since Dustin Keller, but it's one of those things. And see, by the way, Peter, that's how you know I actually watch the Jets, by the way, because that's one of those where it's like, he does watch the Jets. He knows Dustin Keller. But
listen, I don't trust Taylor because his father was a Jet killer, even though he did play for the Jets for a brief time.
I mean, his father, Jason, played for the Jets for a year. I do think that he probably had a hand in that happening, but we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, going on over there, at least I like Aaron Glenn. I want to see what their defense puts together. Culture might be a little better. I think it's okay to have absolutely zero expectations because the problem was with Aaron Rodgers, there were forced expectations. People were talking about the Jets team as a real contender, and they weren't. We knew they weren't. So now with no expectations, if they go out there and they punch the Steelers in the mouth, I'm going to laugh my ass off. They get an opportunity to play. They get an opportunity to play Aaron Rodgers week 1.
That's the only game I want to win.
Right, but that's the thing. You're playing Aaron Rodgers week 1 after he disparaged your organization. He came over and did shit and robbed your draft picks, right? You got to assume that there's motivation already in-house.
Well,
right?
Listen, I'm not super familiar with Aaron Glenn. He hasn't even coached a game yet. Luke, I know you are. I love the culture that you guys built in Detroit. But the difference is that starts at the top. Your owner really bought in. She's doing a fantastic job. She turned probably the worst run franchise in sports into a Super Bowl contender. Right? You can agree with that, or am I overshooting with Super Bowl contender?
No, we're definitely Super Bowl contenders.
Over in Jets.
I thought you were asking Graham. I
know. I want to clear.
I feel like I wasn't the impartial one to ask in this because I'm going to say the Lions are.
No, but I like the Lions a lot too. So, since Matthew Stafford is, so I'm also.
Then let's ask Ash. Ash will be the impartial one.
So okay, so Lions, we all agree. Lions Super Bowl contenders.
Ash, do you think the Lions will be Super Bowl contenders?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think it's obvious. Luke, it's okay. You're not biased in this one.
We all agree. Lions Super Bowl
Trent Grisham. Yep, got it.
So
they're obviously not the favorite because that's the Buffalo Bills, but
okay. So going back to my point,
the Buffalo Bills are never favorites. So
you just got to beat Pat Mahomes.
Okay.
Can you do
So
that?
anyway,
Not in 12 seconds, we can't.
hey,
It is the New York
we get
Power
a
Hour,
lot
so we
done in
can talk
12
about the
seconds.
Bills. I mean,
I was actually going to mention the Bills
it's
after I
fair game.
punted the
It is
Giants.
fair game.
No, I was going to mention the Bills this week, because I want to bring Ash into it, but also like they do play in the state of New York, and although this is more the New York City Power Hour, the Bills play in the physical state of New York, so I have to talk about them at some point. But please, Peter, go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, Sheila Ford has done a fantastic job with the Lions. Our owner, Woody Johnson's a fucking dipshit. Okay, he lets his son control stuff based off fucking Madden ratings. Like he's too cheap.
He's not wrong.
He's
no,
I know.
Peter's not wrong.
He's too cheap.
It's just funny hearing Peter call him a dipshit. But yeah, go ahead.
He's too cheap to put an actual grass field on that godforsaken hellhole turf. The stadium that you agreed to build with the Giants looks like a stack of fucking CDs. You are famous for being cheap on not refusing to spend money on improving things in the organization, whether that's the locker room or things like that. You were voted almost last across the board on facility things, on the players' vote they do every year. You do not run a first-class organization. You run a fucking shithole. Okay? You're doing a terrible job. You left because you got a nice cushy job in Washington, and your brother came in, and he's even more of a dipshit than you are. So, like, it's like, to me, change starts at the top. Me and Ram, we can speak as Mets fans. Obviously, we have not won anything under the Steve Cohen era yet, but we have seen a substantial change in the organization. It starts at the top. And as excited as I want to be about Aaron Glenn is just the head coach. He is not the GM. He is not the president. He's not the owner. It's the same thing with the Cowboys. The owner sucks. The team's going to suck.
I think I've said this on air before, but when I started watching the Jets and they told me that the owner was Woody Johnson, I thought they were fucking with me. Because if you're telling me that this guy owns the team and his name is Woody Johnson, I'm like, yeah, that's a great joke to make to
You're
an
going to tell me
and
the same
go out
guy
and tell people
the same guy owns like Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, the same guy owns Johnson and Johnson that puts lead in the fucking baby powder. Like, you're going to tell me that he can run a football team? Get the fuck out of here.
You're not wrong.
Peter, you bring up MetLife, and you guys are both New York people. You guys are metro area people. Like you see them build MetLife, right? And then you see in Minneapolis they build Bank of America. You see Las Vegas they build Allegiant. Like objectively, like really nice stadiums.
Yes. Dude, the Cowboys Stadium was built like 2 or 3 years after the Jets.
Like I don't get it. Like
This I will actually defend Woody Johnson on a little. Woody Johnson wanted to build a stadium in Manhattan. They had the plans, they had the space, everything. How am I forgetting the illustrious? What's his name? Knicks owner. Please help me.
Dolan.
Great shots. James Dolan lobbied to block that because he doesn't want any competition in Manhattan.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So he kind of got forced. He kind of got forced to stay where they were. He apparently the word on the street is Woody Johnson wanted glass on the outside. The Giants wanted brick, so they met in the middle with whatever the fuck this monstrosity is now. Metal. There have been, honestly, I don't even think it's rumors. I think it's just fans hoping and praying that they build a football stadium where Steve Cohen is trying to build a metropolis there in Queens. Yes. That'd be sick. I'd love that.
Also, that's hilarious calling it a metropolis, by the way. I appreciate
so like, especially I live in New Jersey. Like it is I live much closer to MetLife Stadium than I do to Citi Field. I would rather go to Citi Field to watch.
I hope
take the LIRR.
It is a hellhole to even drive to, and then you have to sit in, and it's just a terrible stadium. The food sucks. Stadium sucks. The turf is
traffic is awful. The way they set up the roadways around MetLife is just awful.
Horrible.
The European mind is for this World Cup. The European mind is not going to be able to comprehend that level of effort again.
It just embodies New Jersey, like just poorly planned, like just a poorly planned state, and just it embodies it. It absolutely embodies it.
Well, that's a good segue to if we want to talk about the New Jersey Cup. A very well planned.
The New
What's
Jersey
this-
Cup is like the most
I-
important game in the history of our fantasy baseball.
I think
league,
that
so.
banana's getting
Everyone's
smaller
saying
every week, by the way. Can you bring the banana up again? I think it's getting smaller. How is it shrinking? How is this possibly shrinking every week?
Did you draw the smiley face on there?
No, the smiley face is there.
It's
This is
symbolic.
This is the best smiley face that $7.95 could buy. Okay.
I feel like I should have donated towards this to like get a second banana or something. Now I feel bad.
Two
you know.
bananas.
By the way, speaking of pointless uses of money, Chris, by the way, wants to let people know greatest birthday gift ever. He received some Tom Brady kids books. He would be commenting more, but as the title of one of the books that Luke so graciously got in his direction says, sorry I wasn't listening. I was thinking about Tom Brady. So he's doing that right now. Over on the Giants. On the Giants side of things, both fantasy and otherwise, Malik Neighbors enters his second year, and it should be at least an exciting one for them to see what they've got in Malik Neighbors. Right, the Giants' schedule starts off on Sunday against the Washington Commanders, who obviously with the spark of Jaden Daniels last year are looking to kind of keep that momentum going. Who played very well.
Go ahead.
Is the Commanders the worst name in all of sports? Like,
No.
could they not come up with something better?
I think. Well, first of all, I think the Guardians was probably the biggest cop out of any of the team change names. Like that is awful. That was an awful move just so that they could save money and keep DIANS at the end. I also think they should have stayed as the Washington football team. I thought that was a great.
I love the
WFT. I was a big fan of the WFT. I like.
Or use like Red Foxes or whatever it was that was one of the suggestions, because then they could have still used the iconic R from like their 70s,
Correct.
60s, and 70s.
I do not necessarily. I like the rebrand. I don't like the Commanders as a name. I do think they could do better, but I guess
it sounds like a creative team on Madden or something.
Yeah, well, God apparently likes it because he gave him Jaden Daniels. So apparently, I got nothing to. How am I gonna fight with God if you rename to a team name that I don't like, but you get mobile quarterback
God gave
Jaden
them Jaden Daniels because they finally got a new owner. So it wasn't for the name.
I mean, that's fair. There was a lot of stuff going on from before.
And so the viewers know Ram needs to stop fighting with God because God wins everything.
If we had like video editing staff, the amount of conversations I've had where I've said something like, this came up when we went to the game together, right? So this is even just one of them. The deals I've made with God, and I have followed through on having to go to church because Brandon Nimmo hit a home run and things like that. Won through some matchups when I asked for God's help. I don't know, but I, as a non-religious man, God is apparently trying to prove something to me. So maybe you can make Peter laugh and make the Jets good. That would be fun. But yeah, the Giants are
going off. That's not going to work.
Yeah, but I didn't ask.
No, the problem with the Jets is that Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil to win the Super Bowl, and the Jets will not win another Super Bowl until he does. So that's my play.
I think what it is that the Jets play where the sun doesn't shine and God can't reach them. Like in certain religions, they talk about like certain things that you can do where the angels won't visit your house. That's MetLife Stadium. MetLife Stadium is actually like religiously like unavailable for God to go and help them out.
I believe it's basically just a giant pentagram.
Even like if the Super Bowl was like a home and away game and like it had to be played at MetLife when the Giants were playing the Patriots, they wouldn't have beat the Patriots. Like there's no way that
famously the Super Bowl was at MetLife Stadium one year and it snowed and it was a terrible game. So
sun don't shine there. God don't like it. God don't like ugly, nor does he like MetLife Stadium. But with the Giants leading off against the Commanders, I mean, expectations for Jets and Giants are pretty much low this year because they're going to let Russell Wilson figure it out with Neighbors. I know people like Neighbors as fantasy option. I don't know what Russell Wilson has left in the tank, but I've always kind of found him amusing outside of the fact that he should have beat the Patriots and didn't. And he's still got something there, and the Giants will figure that one out as Jackson Dart kind of waits in the wings over there. But and Cam Scatabo, we're gonna figure out what they've got in him as they progress forward before they get to the whole Jackson Dart takes over thing. I love that they're not pushing him to start right away. I love that they're gonna let Tyrone Tracy do a little bit before Scatabo has to kind of do his thing, but I think by the end of the year we might see both of those guys in the starting role. I mean, it's very possible that if Russell Wilson stinks up the joint, that they go to Dart instead of Jameis Winston. For fantasy purposes, I love Jameis Winston. He turned Malik Neighbors into an absolute superstar. But I think they might let Dart look really good in the preseason. Yeah. And so they might let him do his thing a little bit later on. I think Scatterboat usurps Tyrone Tracy just because I just don't think Tyrone Tracy is that very good. But it's going to be a very quiet, no expectations stuff for the Jets and Giants this season. The Bills, however, of course, are going to have to try to figure things out again and move towards another attempt to win the Super Bowl and another fight with Patrick Mahomes, more than likely. Ash, how do you feel about the Bills going into, season start over here? I don't have their schedule in front of me, so let me check real quick. They are facing the Ravens on Sunday night. Yes, there's Sunday night football against the Ravens.
I'm nervous about that one to start off. I mean, that's going to be tough, especially because I hate to root against Lamar, man. Like if I had to say there was one player that's my favorite player in the league, it would be Lamar Jackson. I mean, that dude is just so good and so fun to watch on the field. So I hate that Buffalo's playing them to start the season.
That because you went to Louisville.
And he's won 2 MVPs. It's not like I'm talking about.
I think this is a.
It's not like I'm talking about Justin Fields.
We talked about a trap game thing when we talked about the Marlins series for the Mets last week, right? I think this is a rough one for the Bills because on the heels of Josh Allen winning an MVP, which a lot of people don't necessarily believe that he should have beat Lamar for the MVP, right? Now we've got a situation on primetime football, game 1. Lamar Jackson with a chip on his shoulder gets to face Josh Allen. I mean, if you're a gambling man, I feel like this is a Lamar Jackson showcase game. I feel like he's got all the motivation he needs in the bag to turn around and say he's going to put up a crazy game out there and just try to stun on him. Because this is a man motivated by emotions, and I don't know how good I feel about the Bills going into it. For the overall season, I don't see any reason they shouldn't win the division, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bills should be the favorites to win the division and one of the favorites in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. So,
do you know how frustrating it is as a Jets fan to not be able to just hate Josh Allen? Like, I should hate his guts. I should feel the same way about him that I do Tom Brady, but I can't. He's such a nice, likable guy. Like, it's so frustrating.
I don't hate the Bills or Josh Allen. I hate Bills fans that aren't Ash though. Like most of them are jackasses. So, like Ash kind of proves like a lot of things because like I generally don't drive with Braves fans either, but like I like Ash, so like it makes sense to me that he's also the Bills fan that I don't want to like throw across the football field. But
my teams are all over the globe.
Yeah, so I'm not like necessarily you also like a Canadian hockey team. So it's
take a struggle, Ash.
But like Ram, you say like your fans are all over the globe. Like you're a Saints fan, you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Oh yeah, I do that on purpose on Sleeper to mess with people. Like I have that all up there. Like I could just put the Knicks and the Mets and stuff and the Jets, but it's more fun to like put on there. And then I lure people into think about the fact that Ram Henning. I actually love Atlanta. I just don't like Braves fans. No, I love Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta and I enjoy it. I have many stories about Atlanta, most of which I can't tell on air, but I really like Atlanta and they're a lot of fun down there. And but I don't like Braves fans, although they were really nice to me when I went, which is kind of annoying. So no, but
I have to say with Bills fans, they're interesting. I mean, like right, you have Bills Mafia and they go like crazy on the tailgate and everything like that. But at least from everything I've read about Bills fans is like when tragedy happens, like they band together and like they are like a super positive community.
I'm not gonna give them credit for clearing snow out of a stadium to watch a football game. They were hanging Kermit the Frogs outside when the Chiefs fans were out. And they were lynching Kermit the Frogs. You want me to sit there and be like, oh, hilarious. Yeah, those are my guys. We're lynching Kermit the Frogs because we don't like Patrick Mahomes.
They go on to
anyone think about
there's two ends of the spectrum here.
Can anyone think of why lynching an effigy of a non-white quarterback might be a bad idea. Can anyone raise their hand and maybe tell me, let's share with the class, why? I'll be like, oh yeah, great job. You cleared some slow. I'm so proud of you. The 9-year-olds on my street can band together and clear some fucking snow out of the stadium.
All right,
Get out of here.
Here's what I'll say in defense of Bills fans. When the Bills made the playoffs for the first time in, 1,000 years, because Andy Dalton threw that touchdown at the end. They donated like a bunch of money to Andy Dalton's charity, which helps kids. So like that was a really nice moment for like NFL fans. And I was like, that was a cool moment.
Like,
I'm not a Bills
fan. The only fan base that's done that? You want me to
Yeah.
start Googling things on screen? Like these things happen all
sure,
the time?
but they still did it, and they still
like,
helped
Alvin Kamara had a 5-touchdown game in the holidays that won people fantasy stuff, and Saints fans were donating to tons of charities because he won them their fantasy leagues. Do you want me to go out there and be like, wow, Saints fans are great? No, a lot of us are a bunch of assholes. I know Saints fans. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about
we got the worst one on this damn stream tonight. No,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like a thing.
Well,
where...
all right, let's dig a little bit deeper because I feel like we can go to any football fan base and be like, yeah, they're just a bunch of assholes. Like,
well, they're not lynching Kermit the Frog.
Especially Patriots fans.
Yeah, Patriots fans are the worst.
Yeah, Patriot and Tom Brady
fans are the worst.
Tom Brady fans specifically.
Yeah,
God, I hope
half the Patriots fans went to Tampa when Brady was there.
Yeah,
I hope Chris is watching, by the way, because I know
Yeah.
he's a Patriots. I hope that he's watching. Cause
you know who's worse than Patriots fans?
Yankees fans. I
Florida-
agree, 100%.
Florida
Panthers.
Florida Panther
Oh my
fans
Yes,
are worse.
Florida Panthers fans are the worst.
They're all fake.
They can go fuck themselves.
I don't like that. I don't think I like Panthers fans either, but I'm not too hockey versed, so I can't take that mantle up as much as I'd like to.
Oh, I'm just naming off all of Chris's teams right now because I know he's watching.
Red
And
Sox
Gator
fans aren't that
football
bad.
fans, they're terrible.
Yeah, Boston Red Sox fans, the worst.
I think they're pretty nice. They've been pretty nice.
They're better
to me.
than Yankee fans.
They're better than Yankees fans.
I think
definitely.
Yankees fans are pretty nice. I'm a Yankee fan. What do you guys think of me?
You're the only exception to the rule.
You're a Yankee fan? I didn't know this.
No, he's a
So now,
transition fan.
since we're on here and we have the Yankees fan here, right? And I didn't switch to baseball. Who's the worst fan base on MLB?
You know, it's funny. I've
You
had
mean
this
like
debate.
shitty people or like just like bad
Philadelphia.
sports fan?
I'm just gonna say it.
I mean
Philadelphia.
shitty people because bad sports fans is tough because like I don't necessarily mean like bandwagony necessarily. I mean like oh, this is a rough fan base to deal with. I wouldn't want to go there. type of thing.
Philadelphia. I mean,
Yeah, you mean rough or just like because like
No.
but like I also think about like the Dodgers too, right? Like they show up an hour late to the game and then also like
Yeah, if
people
that
are
was
paid
the
for that.
direction I
Like,
was going in terms
Yeah.
of like worst, in terms of like they clearly don't care and they're getting things their way.
Right.
I'd probably be inclined to agree with you, Luke, right? Because they've got handed things over there.
right.
And by the way, also saying,
Yeah.
I'm completely unsurprised that a New York Power Hour podcast has unanimously decided that Philly's the worst. fan
Philadelphia.
base,
well,
by
I
the
mean,
way.
listen,
I think that's
they're
hilarious.
fans. So they're fans. They've done numerous things. Two of the biggest that stand out to me, and one smaller than the other. I'll start with the smaller one first. I remember when we were playing in the playoffs last year, them talking about like, oh, Citi Field's not a scary place to play. I wasn't afraid for my life at all. Like, you dumb motherfuckers, that's not what the point of going to sports games are. You shouldn't feel for your life. Number two, after we swept them at home and absolutely embarrassed them, so much so to the point that one of their players stopped the game for 20 minutes to remove 2 microphones off the field. I heard it from on social media and in the Discord that the Mets are allegedly stealing signs. We just lost 3-2 games to the Marlins. You think we're stealing? You think we're cheating and stealing signs? You can't beat the fucking Marlins. Like, I'm sorry. Like, really? That's the dumbest thing. That is truly like, if you actually think that the Mets are stealing signs similar to ways to that the Houston Astros are doing, you're a
Trash
moron.
Bros.
I'm going to tag on Ash for a second here too, because I made fun of the Braves fans, but he is the Braves fan. I think there is a general NL East understanding that the Braves and Mets, although they're rivals, don't hate each other as much as they mutually hate Philadelphia. I do think it's really funny
Absolutely.
because the Braves fans that I've talked to and the Mets fan, like all of them, the NL East people I've talked to, if you ask the Braves, if they had to pick and a gun was to their head, they'd obviously want both teams to lose. But if they had to take the Mets or the Phillies, they cheer for the Mets. And I think the Mets fans like legitimately cannot stand the existence of Philadelphia. And like there's a lot of, and the Braves have won a World Series more recently, but there's still more hate towards the Phillies than there is the Braves.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody can like Philly fans. I mean, shit, they threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Did they throw batteries at Santa? Isn't
Allegedly.
the story that they threw batteries at Santa?
Depends who you ask.
But no, I mean and I get it. The rivalries run across sports. I mean, like the Giants, of course, got to watch the Eagles be successful. The Eagles and the Washington Commanders are going to be an interesting year for sure because without Kelsey, Hurts looked a little bit different last year. The tush push was a little bit changed, and so the Eagles weren't super dominant. And Jaden Daniels might have a really good year over there. We'll see what happens in the football world. But Ash, do you think the Bills win the Super Bowl or no? Like, if you actually had to,
I'm a Bills fan. I've seen us lose 4
in a row.
In a row, yeah.
do you think they
My
get
first
to the
4
Super
years
Bowl?
as a fan.
Do you think they're the AFC representative for the Super Bowl this year?
No, I don't think so. I think Baltimore is going to get there, to be honest. I think this is their year.
Feels like a safe pick. I feel like everyone's picking the Ravens. Makes me want to pick the Bills.
I mean, you got to pick the team you think's the best team, so.
I think it's going to be a tough one because the problem for the AFC is it's, and it's why I don't necessarily get as mad at the Jets right now, because even if you picked up a Jaden Daniels as quarterback tomorrow, right? Like even if Justin Fields suddenly became Jaden Daniels for this weekend's game and is now Jaden Daniels, right? You're still going through Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen in the AFC. I mean, it's not a fun slog for anybody in the AFC right now.
Don't forget about Joe Shiesty.
I love Joe Burrow a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But
no, that's my AFC pick is the Bengals. I think that offense is too good. There's deficiencies on the defense, but I mean between Burrow and Jamar Chase,
did they address their offensive line at all?
I want to say they picked up.
I kind of hope they did, because the issue that the Bengals have always had for me is not so much the electricity of like Burrow and Chase. It's that Burrow's got to run like 20 miles a game, and then he throws it up and hopes like, oh fuck it, Chase is down there somehow. He will make the catch.
No, I didn't. There weren't any issues with the offense last year, and I can pull up the offensive numbers, but
yeah, Joe Burrow was still a very high level quarterback again last year. I had him in fantasy.
It was the defense. It was the defense that was just horrendous last year and just kept losing them games. I know they just paid Hendrickson, and I think they picked up a couple guys in free agency. At least from what I've seen, the general consensus is it's not good enough in terms defensively, but the offense is so elite that it's gonna carry them.
Luke, you got someone in the comments there agreeing with you. So we got 2 people for the Bengals.
There we go.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think this won't be the only getting married won't be the only ring on Josh Allen's finger this year.
Wow. I do have a dark horse in the AFC. If you guys want to hear it, maybe not too much of a dark horse.
If you're gonna make an actual case for it, yes.
He's gonna either say the Browns or something.
You say the Jets.
Right? No. I was gonna say someone out of the AFC West, Denver Broncos.
I respect that.
I think they were a good team last year. I think
Nick's energy.
I think Bo Nix showed that he's an NFL quarterback, and I think he always backs Sean Payton if he has a good quarterback. I think they have a team out there.
Well, you're speaking to my heart there, Luke. You're actually speaking to my heart. That's kind of sweet. Of course I'm going to back Sean Payton if he has a good quarter. No, I legitimately believe that. Like,
right. I think
his defense is really good. The Broncos defense is one of the best in the entirety of the NFL.
I think if you look a couple years ago and people just thought, oh well, Sean Payton had Drew Brees and that's why he was so good in New Orleans, and then you have Russell Wilson and the team was just absolute dogfire, right? Or whatever.
Percent of the other guys, yeah, you're fine, don't worry.
Right, yeah, and then you bring in Bo Nix, you bring in your guy, you bring in the guy that you drafted. You develop him, and he shows that he's an NFL quarterback, and the team gets better without Russell Wilson. So I think Sean Payton still has it. I don't think.
I absolutely agree. I mean, look, I am speaking from a fantasy perspective again. I've got Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, the Broncos defense all over my teams.
Yep.
The Broncos defense, I think last year was the highest scoring defense in fantasy football. And they added guys. Like, they're more devastating than before. If Bo Nix can avoid that second year swoon, the Denver Broncos are going to be a very difficult team to beat. I obviously am biased. I think Sean Payton's an elite level coach. He knows what he's doing over there. If they're keeping their squad together, this is a big thing. You know, Cortland Sutton proved he could be wide receiver 1. They don't necessarily have a crazy amount of depth or dynamic offense over there in terms of like name power, but Bo Nix has won them games, and he is a mobile quarterback and he figures things out. Denver's figured some things out. They're a much better team than people give them credit for. And I agree that I do think they're going to be a playoff team and make some noise. Because, I mean, we talked about this when we talk about CBL, right? It's single elimination for NFL. We have watched teams that we gave no chance to take care of business when it came down to a playoff atmosphere. And this isn't rookie quarterback Bo Nix anymore. Again, if he can avoid second-year swoon and he's confident, there's nothing to say that he can't beat somebody in a one-off playoff game. So I'm going to give you credit for that.
Broncos are, that's actually a very great dark horse pick. I mean, I'm not going to bet against somebody that had Kevin James play them in a movie. So, Sean Payton might take them to victory.
Are you just biased towards the King of Queens as a New Jersey guy? Is that how it works?
Well, no, listen.
The greatest.
If you can have Kevin James play you in a movie, that means you're great. So
I like how nobody responded to that, Ash. Nobody's gonna take on this this random thing. The Ash believes that the King of Queens is the greatest sitcom of all time.
Yes, it's absolutely.
No, I said it's my favorite.
Was this on air 2 weeks ago, or did we talk about this after the show? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
It wasn't on air, and it came up in the Discord. It was not on air. That's why I wanted
to started. No, this was when Peter was like, "I can name all the sitcoms better than."
Oh yeah, so we left Peter kind of speechless because he couldn't sitcom. Resident Patriots
everybody loves Raymond. Top is way better.
Resident Patriots fan and also
I think they're equal.
Get the fuck out of here.
What did he say?
He said, "I think they're equal," and Peter immediately said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Peter, are you still disappointed that they filmed The King of Queens in New Jersey?
I'm able to see. I think again that
did you not know that before I said that to you?
No,
I feel so bad. And for anyone who knows, so we met up for a game not too long ago. This section of the New York Power Hour, and when Peter was talking about coming over here, he said he wanted to see the house that they filmed.
That was sarcasm, by the way. It wasn't. I didn't actually want to go to the house.
But you didn't know that it was filmed in New Jersey?
No.
Yeah, so when I responded, it's in New Jersey. That was a legitimate reaction.
I was shocked. I didn't know. I feel like that ruins the show's authenticity.
Well, I mean, the King in New Jersey just doesn't have the same roll off the tongue, right? The King of Queens works. You got a king, queen, pawn.
New Jersey already has
nice.
New Jersey already has a king, okay, and that's Bruce Springsteen. So you can't have two kings.
Yeah.
What about that Martin Brodeur guy? Wasn't he pretty good?
Martin Brodeur is a piece of shit, and he cheated on his wife with his wife's sister. So it's a whole thing. Don't worry about it.
He's also Canadian.
Yeah, he's also Canadian.
Yeah. It's not even.
Thinking about a comedy, and we're also talking about football. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights. How are you feeling about their season ahead, Peter? They did win 34-31 over the mighty Ohio Bobcats.
So this is my favorite part of the Rutgers schedule. Before they have to play in conference games, so I'm like 3-0, 3-1. Good start. Maybe it's a turnaround, and then they play the in conference games and they get the absolute shit kicked out of them.
Who do they have this week?
I definitely know who that is.
Right, I'm pulling it up. The New York football
State
team. We've got they must have moved out of the Big Ten. They're playing in the MAC. Because they had Ohio last week, and now they've got Miami of Ohio this week. They're trying to trick people into thinking that they played Ohio State and the Miami Hurricanes is what they're trying to do, because they just squeaked out a win against Ohio, and now they've got to play Miami, and that game's on Peacock.
Well, Peacock's going to lose a lot of money after the WWE UFC situation. WWE is moving to ESPN. UFC is moving to Paramount. So
Everybody knows AEW is better anyway.
Hell yeah.
that was just for you, Peter. That wasn't an actual thought.
No, it was also a true thought.
Yeah, I'm getting AJ Lee returning on Friday. I'll be fine. I will be a happy man. But
again, another another counter program. You guys can't come up with your own good ideas. You just have to bring back old people.
AJ Lee coming back to defend her husband on Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown is counter programming.
Yeah, because AEW is doing something on Friday too.
That's great.
Are they still doing Raw on Netflix?
Yes, they are. Raw's on Netflix. It did just start this year, but yes, Raw's on Netflix.
Okay, I didn't know if they changed it. I'm sorry.
We don't have 3-month contracts or anything.
Yeah,
maybe they do. I don't know. That sounds like a Netflix thing.
Luke, the AEW guys, they get really offended when you don't know everything about wrestling that's ever happened. If you can't mention every 6-star match that's ever happened, they look at you. They look down on you because they're wrestling purists. They think they're better than us.
Can I tell you one universal truth about wrestling that you need to know?
Just mention Edge. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Edge is the greatest wrestler. Edge is the greatest wrestler of all time. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's actually Adam Copeland now. So, but Ram, so what I will say to that with you is Brock Lesnar, and we don't need to get any more into that.
I hate Brock Lesnar. I hate that they're like, but both companies suck. They just suck in different ways. That's the problem.
I mean, it's a wrestling company. What do you?
But that's what I mean. Both of them suck. They just suck in different ways. I'll be happy if I get to see AJ Lee.
Yeah, but at least you get actual wrestling on AEW.
It is where the best wrestle.
Actually, no, there have been some pretty good matches at the recent WWE pay-per-view, so I'm not gonna I'm not
for WWE, yeah.
No, they were actually good matches.
I mean, they'll suffice.
You remind me of the guys that I used to watch Ring of Honor for years. You remind me of the guys I used to hang out with that are like, how do you watch WWE? The wrestling is so subpar. You need to go watch Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling with me. And then they'll show me
they were right.
I mean, they're right.
I've loved so many. I think one of my favorite matches ever might be, I don't know if it was Ring of Honor or TNA at the time, but it was like Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles. And I think that was TNA.
That TNA.
Yeah, that was TNA. But that triple threat's one of the greatest matches that I have ever seen, ever. For what it's worth.
Oh, a 3-run he. Nice.
3-run he. All right.
But I can't spell FR. Chris can't spell HR. It's all good.
And I can't spell RBI, so it's fine.
But as Ballinger homers, and we can move off the Canadians and Edge to the Canadians over here.
Can I add one more? Before we move over to me being sad about the Mets?
Go for it.
The best wrestling, my favorite wrestling match of all time is the PWG match. It was a 2-on-1 handicap for the tag team titles. It was the Young Bucks versus Candice LeRae, and only Candice LeRae. Don't look it up. It doesn't matter. Best match of all time.
Only Candice LeRae?
Just Candice. Nope, she didn't have a tag team partner.
I don't know if that's exactly how it went.
That's exactly how it went.
All right, here's your wrestling fact of the day for anyone who's listening that actually is still here thinking about wrestling. There's a guy in the Indies who his name is Stephen Flow, who comes out to a version of Even Flow that's just him singing Stephen Flow in theme multiple times. And his signature move, you guessed it, is the Pearl Slam. But moving past Stephen Flow and the Pearl Slam, that is a completely factual thing, by the way. Google me.
Can we just
what if it's anything like the Pearl River Plunge that Ahmed Johnson used to use?
Can we finish up? Can we just finish up the football? We did AFC. Do we want to do NFC too?
I mean, it's the Eagles.
Are we just unanimous on the Lions winning the NFC?
I actually do think the Lions win the NFC, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm a big
say that
Dan Campbell's my guy. I think that this is a big Jamar Gibbs step up year 2. I think that 50-50 thing they're doing. Here is my worry, though, and this is a legitimate question to you, Luke. I know it's not a New York Power Hour question, but I'm curious, right? How worried are you about the shift in the offensive coordinator? And do you think the Lions are actually going to take a step back? Because clearly their offense was outstanding, right? And you had something that you were able to work in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson, two-headed monster, and Gibbs and Montgomery. Now, is it going to be the same? Are you nervous that they can't keep it together the same way?
I don't know how credible this is, but from what I was told, the guy who wrote the plays for Ben Johnson is now the offensive coordinator. So the guy who is writing all the plays and doing all that crazy stuff that Ben Johnson got all the credit for is now the offensive coordinator.
So the guy who like put the stuff on the board, like he didn't think up the plays, he just wrote it down. Like that makes
No,
sense.
he thought up.
I know. I'm just fucking.
No, the guy who thought up all these plays. Jesus,
I love it. No, thinking up the plays is the thing that I'd consider, but I like the idea of the guy that Ben Johnson called over and said, "Come over here, write this."
Hey, I don't feel like writing this down. Can you write it on the board for me? Thanks, man.
Can you imagine that interview? By the way, like he walks in, and he's like, "I know you guys have been considering another offensive coordinator, but what if I give you Ben Johnson 2.0? I have a photographic memory, and I wrote the X's and O's of all his plays. I can just give you all of his plays." No,
yeah.
I heard the same thing coming out of Lions camp, that they feel like they're comfortable offensive coordinator wise. Obviously, the defensive coordinator ended up with us, but that switchover is rough, right? In terms of like losing an offensive and defensive coordinator in the same. Are you looking at the game?
Yeah, sorry. No, the ump's been fucking awful this game, and he just punched out Jazz on a pitch that was probably an inch off the plate.
I could have used a home run from Jazz, man.
Bad umpiring all day today. Mason Miller threw an immaculate inning, and none of the pitches were in the zone except for one. And if you watch the immaculate inning, by the way, it starts off with the slider that's above the zone being called for a strike. He then proceeds to throw 7 straight pitches out of the zone that are swung on, and then throws one slider, the 9th one. It's all sliders, 9 sliders. The 9th one's in the middle of the plate. And the guy was so shocked that he got a pitch down the middle, he didn't know how to react and swung and missed the slider down the dick. None of that was false. Like 9 sliders, 1 outside the zone to start, then 7 completely outside the zone, and a 9th one down the dick, right middle. And the batter was so shocked he just swung and missed at it because he was very confused. Very funny day for immaculate innings. But on the topic of baseball, since we have a few minutes, you talked about the Pearl River plunge. I'd like to throw Ryan Helsley into a river or any close body of water, because ever since the Mets have acquired Ryan Helsley, he is competing for arguably the Mets' worst trade acquisition in the history of Mets.
Yeah, that's been surprising because I thought this was going to become a lockdown 8th, 9th situation, but
we all did. Do you want to know a really fun stat, which actually might make Luke feel a little bit better about himself? Ryan Helsley has now given up more runs as a Met than Devin Williams has as a Yankee.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if that makes me feel better, because Ryan Helsley is single-handedly dragging me down in the Banana Cup right now. So
the fact that you have him on your roster at all is just absolutely you're sabotaging yourself. I appreciate it, but like
I think there are going to be some roster changes tonight, and I think he's going to be one of them.
So going into today's game, this obviously doesn't show today's game, right? Where he gave up another 3 earned runs. He allowed 12 earned runs with the Cardinals all year, and now he's actually already allowed more earned runs with the Mets in about 10 to 11 innings of work than he did with the Cardinals all of the year leading up to now. And he's blown 4 saves and lost, I believe, 4 games as well, if you include today, right? Ryan Helsley has been absolute hot garbage. I don't really know. I know that they're talking. Luke, by the way, you're a smart, handsome man. Apparently, you should feel better. But I know that the talk is that he's tipping his pitches. But man, you can see it even right here. He came up to us, and he came up and at a 2.92 ERA in August. He had a 9.31 ERA. It was 13.5 here in September, and it got worse today when he gave up more earned runs. His ERA has ballooned to over 4.5. It's almost 2 runs worse than it was. what the hell's going on? I mean, yes, apparently he's tipping his pitches, but he's a 2-pitch guy. Apparently he's tipping his breaking pitch, so they're just sitting on the fastball and they're just crushing it. And you can see here too, it's a mix of things. He gave up a home run today. He gave up 1 home run against Philly. He gave up 1 against Milwaukee, but he's getting bit by the home run ball. He's walking some guys. He's mixing things up. I don't know what happened. And the crazy thing is, you can see his first outing with the Mets, he allowed 2 runs, but 2 hits, but he struck out 3. I don't know. I do not have answers for this Ryan Helsley situation because he has been garbage, and the Mets have tried to run him out in different scenarios, low leverage, high leverage, everything, and he has just struggled with everything.
It's crazy. You see his ERA, right, when he came to the Mets was 2.92, right? Like now it's at 4.34.
4.98.
No, it's actually higher because it was
4.47.
It was 4.47 going into today, and then he gave up 2 runs today. It's 4.98. So it's now gone up 2 full runs in the month that we've had him. I mean, this is legit. I mean, again, the blown saves there. So 4 blown saves, 4 losses if you consider today. This is a guy, and it's not even considering the fact that there's some stuff on here that he's not on the record. Ryan Helsley has cost the Mets 5 to 6 games.
Yeah, cost him today. Dude, he's been absolutely utter turbo dog shit. There's no other way to put it. Like, there has not been one redeeming quality of Ryan Helsley since he's been in the Mets. There's not, like, even his first outing, he still gave up 2 hits. Like, yeah, he got out of it. But after that, it's just been absolutely garbage. Like, he's cost the Mets constantly. He can, like, I understand the Mets probably don't want to DFA him because the fear is, you just traded a couple guys for him and then, he figures it out elsewhere. But, like, you can't have this guy in your roster if you want to go anywhere. Clearly, like, you're tipping your pitches. You have 2 fucking pitches. Like, figure it out, buddy. What are we doing?
It's been rough, right? And then the Mets pitch, it's just one of those things where I feel like we go through this where when the pitching's good, we don't hit, and when the hitting's good, we don't pitch well. Right. And here's another situation along that side here, since we're kind of dumping on. Let's talk about what's going on here with who should have been potential ace, Kodai Senga. Right. If you can see here, up until when he got hurt, his ERA was sparkling. Right. He had a 0.77 ERA in June. And at that point, his ERA was 1.47. He came back from injury and looked solid in 4 innings of work. And ever since then, it has been a bit of a nightmare. The rumor came out that the Mets are actually trying to negotiate with Kodai to accept a minor league demotion for a bit to try to figure out what's going on. And for those of you who were worried about whether Senga was going to opt out at the offseason, he has not pitched enough innings due to injury to trigger that option. So he no longer has an opt-out. So he will be with the Mets next year on the same contract, and they're going to try to find a place for him. Some of the strikeout numbers have looked okay. In the Atlanta game where he looked a little bit solid, he struck out 7. I don't know what exactly is going on here, but you can see it here too. His ERA has ballooned to, 1.5 higher than it was before. He has only lost games. He won that 1 game back in June 12th. That was pre-injury. That was the game I think he did get injured in because he left at 77 pitches. So he hasn't won a game. I know pitcher wins is not a real stat either, but since coming back, bit of a tough scenario here. The Mets have lost a few of those games. They're 4-4 in 5-4 where he's pitched since returning. Hasn't looked like himself. Peter, what do you think about this? It's been frustrating, right?
No, and I think a lot of it has to do with him and Minaya. It's kind of the same situation where I don't think that they're healthy right now. Especially, I think Minaya is a little bit worse off than Senga is right now as far as health. I truly think that the Mets just bite the bullet, have him get surgery now, because I think it's just going to get worse. With Senga, I mean, yeah, maybe you put him in the minors, you rest him up because he can't go on regular rest. If you have him there, you are forcing yourself to have a 6-man rotation, and he's still not giving you more than 4 innings, or 4 or 5 innings with the extra rest. If the Mets, as of right now, if they want to compete and make a playoff spot and make a run in the World Series or in the playoffs, they're going to have to call up Sproat and quick. Probably didn't want to call all three of those guys up this year if you're David Stearns, but it's really starting to look like that's what you're going to have to do.
So let me ask you guys this as Mets fans. You're going into a wild card series. Who's starting game one?
I mean, I'm going to give David Peterson a pass for last game. He's been really good all year. He's allowed to have a bad start. Unfortunately, I was there, so I will hold it against him slightly. But David Peterson, even though he's not the best pitcher on the Mets this second, he deserves to start game one for the body of work he's done all season. And then after that, it has to be McLean. And then, Tong's only pitched one game so far. So I hesitate to have him say third, but at that point, what Clay's going to be in the bullpen? Who else are you going to have?
Okay, so you have Peterson, McLean, and Tong as your 1, 2, 3. Ram, who do you have pitching in 3 games in a wild card?
Exact same. And I don't think that unless we're at a position where we're worried about some kind of arm fatigue for David Peterson, it absolutely should be him. He has earned it. He has worked through the dog days of the Mets 2025 season where he's kind of been their de facto ace, and he stayed healthy. So unless we're worried about arm fatigue or something of that nature, we're sending David Peterson out there for your game one starter. And you have to send McLean out right now for game 2. The positives is, as Peter's name alludes to, it's McLean and Tong and everybody else, right? Let's tune in real quick to what's going on here. I can't actually show you what went on in the game because Manfred will come to my house and try to hit me in the face. But this was Tong's start here, so we can start by just saying that the Mets kind of screwed him over here. As you can see that 4 runs allowed, but just 1 earned run. He looked like he was cruising on his way to 6 innings and maybe just 1 earned run allowed or something of that nature. He looked good. He looked calm under pressure in situations that were not necessarily perfect for him. But he's so effortlessly Canadian that he apologized after the game for this start as if he had somehow pitched badly here in a 19-9 victory where he only gave up 4 runs, one of them only his own fault. No walks is the significant thing that I want to highlight here because the Mets have been the worst in walking people, and he went out there and pitched a pretty gritty game. I enjoyed it. He is a lovely human being who admitted to the fact that when he got called up, he called his mom and cried for like an hour because he was so happy. So Markham, Ontario native Jonah Tong going out there and really pitching his heart out, looking good. I can't wait to see him again. And also, of course, if you've heard all the buzz, I'm sure Luke and Ash, you've heard it too, but Nolan McLean's the new religion around these parts, folks.
And I just want to jump in here real quick because Peter kind of acted like he needed to defend saying David Peterson. And I see people joke about him throughout, social media sometimes, like fans of other clubs and fantasy baseball players and stuff like that. But we need to start recognizing that this guy now has pitched for, this is 47 starts over 2 years where this guy's actually pitching damn well. This is not just like a fluky streak where he just had a good month. 47 starts over 2 years is pretty damn good with a 3.30 ERA. I don't know what more he has to do to start getting actual recognition and stop and people stop going, oh, I know it's David Peterson, or feel like they need to subdue what they're saying because of this guy. He's pitched damn well for 2 seasons now. Can we not act like that anymore? David Peterson is a good pitcher.
No, I absolutely agree. I think David, as of right now, David Peterson is your game 1 starter, and I think that stays true all the way through the playoffs. I wouldn't start McLean game 1. I wouldn't start Tong game 1 unless it lines up that way, right? Unless you're in some kind of game, game 162, and you have to throw Peterson, and then he's not ready to go for game 1. What's surprising to me is that you don't have Senga in your wild card start. So is he going to line up, for the NLDS, or are you going to have him out of the bullpen?
I don't even know if I want him to make the playoff roster. Not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that trend is scary. Like looking at his stats getting worse over the last 2 months. Like
don't get me wrong, this isn't hate. I love Senga.
But it's just but Peter, here's the thing. You keep alluding to these guys who are getting worse and worse throughout the season. You have to have like pitchers on your roster when the playoffs start. Like you can't be like, all right, well, we're cutting Helsley, we're cutting Holmes, we're cutting Senga. Like you gotta bring guys on. Like we can't just cut everybody.
Theoretically, Senga you would swap out for I said his name earlier and I already forgot. Sprout.
Who hasn't even thrown a pitch? Like I don't know. Like
okay, but neither did McLean or Tong before this.
Right, but they have now.
Yes.
Now they have, right? So now you say, okay, I feel good about McLean because he's pitched four games, gotten 4 wins, right? Has looked really solid. Tong has thrown 1 game. Maybe I don't feel as great, but as September goes along, okay, maybe my confidence grows with him. I'm not throwing Sprout out there, in a September, mid-September call up and saying, all right, kid, you're gonna start the wild card game.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's not happening.
No, I agree. So Senga's not in my playoff rotation, but not in the same way that it is for Peter. What I want to see them do is to get creative. And this is now me being an old school eye test type person. I have watched Manea and Senga struggle past the 4th inning for a lot of these games. So I would not be opposed if they decided to, let's say, piggyback Senga and Manea in the same game. Because I think the 2 of them could give you 6. I think you can get 3 for one and 3 for the other. And I'm okay with that because in the playoffs, everyone's on a short leash anyway, right? So if you kind of go in with the idea that we're going to get 3 from Sean, we're going to get 3 from Senga, I think that can work. And I also think that it's going to work in a way where because one's lefty and one's righty, it can also throw off the way you do your lineup. If you're trying to play platoon and things like that, you might get nervous. So I think that think that Tong and McLean are going to be a situation where they're going to pitch in the playoffs for us. And I'm going to love that. I actually am going to enjoy that because McLean right now looks like a big dog. Man, he looks like a guy. I'll switch back over to here. These last 2 starts, right? I mean, look, Seattle and Atlanta, good starts. He looked fine, but you went out there and fought for a quality start against the Detroit Tigers and shut them down. And you blanked the division-leading Phillies for 8 innings with some beautiful work and made it look easy. He had 95 pitches. He hasn't touched 100 pitches in the start yet. I mean, it's a 4-0 start to his career, and he is cruising. He looks really good. I love this. I think it's a lot of fun.
Can I give you guys something to look forward to with Nolan McLean? Obviously, we're a long ways away, and we don't know how 100% it's going to work out. But people on Mets Twitter have started to look at starts on normal day rest. Next Friday, home at Citi Field, it has the potential to be Nolan McLean versus Jacob deGrom.
Oh, wow. DeGrom
That
versus
would be
DeGrom.
exciting.
Nice. DeGrom versus DeGrom Jr.
I mean, kind of. Like, they even look similar in the way they pitch. It's great.
Lightning McLean. I'm going to have to start calling that.
Good chow.
God,
but no, going back to Tong, like, what a cool guy. Like Ram said, he he cried on the phone with his mom for like an hour, and he just like openly told that to the media. I think that's so cool. Like, I've never seen a pitcher in the dugout waiting to pitch again, just stand in the corner. Like, it's not sitting like so he can watch the game, see what's going on. And it wasn't easy. Like, yeah, I know the Mets scored a lot of runs, but he had to wait like 20 and 30 minutes in between the innings because the Mets could not stop hitting the ball. Also enough to show how bad it is, with the exception of Nolan, Jonah, and David. The Mets had the greatest offensive month in the history of the New York Mets and only won 17 games. They went 17 and 19.
Yeah, that speaks to it, man. And it's a tough one because it's also, as much as I like the 2 of them, prospect history be damned with the Mets, because Generation K apparently 30 years ago, and some of our viewers weren't even alive. I know that it is kind of a high pressure situation to take two guys who have just been called up and expect them to be part of our playoff rotation. A month ago, I would have absolutely said that Senga and Manaea are just going to have to figure it out, right? Because I wasn't going to go to Holmes in the playoffs anyway. But I do think there's going to be piggyback situations. This is the new playoff format. You're going to need to use your bullpen. You're going to need to get creative. I don't think you need to go further than 3 starting pitchers. So, you let Peterson start, you let McLean go out there, you let Tong go out there, keep guys like Holmes in the pen and make them available for more than one inning if needed. You've been using Diaz for more than one inning, and play it game by game, and let's see what happens. So at the end of it, I'm pretty excited. I'm fine with Senga for 3, Manaea for 3, or something like that kind of piggyback situation, and I'll be calm with it. So we'll see what happens when it comes down to if we can even make the wild card and secure it, right? That's the problem that we're having, of course. But at least for Tong and McLean, it is encouraging to see what's going on there right now, right?
Well, and you talk about guys that pitched before a lot of our viewers were born. Like, I'll even go back further than you might have thought I would. But we're talking about pitchers with very little experience. A team that made it to Game 7 of the 1991 World Series. I mean, their 3 best pitchers on that team were guys that had been in the league maybe a year, 2 years at max. I mean, you had Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, and Steve Avery. People forget how good Steve Avery was, by the way. I mean, this was a guy that was like a 20-game winner, front of the rotation guy. His arm fell apart pretty early in, I think 4 or 5 years into his career. But those 3 guys were green beyond green and took the team to Game 7 of the 91 World Series into the 10th inning before falling victim to the Minnesota Twins. So, guys, I'm like you, Ram. I don't put a lot of emphasis on how much experience they have. Like, I think that it's not too late to think that Tong and McLean could greatly influence the postseason of the 2025 Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yeah, and you know what? And Luke, to tie you into this, because I never want to leave you alone, and I know we've crossed an hour, but it's still fair to talk about the Yankees for a bit. McLean and Tong are not the only prospect arms for a New York team that have been making waves as of recent, if I am correct. No,
there's a guy in the in Bronx who got called up, and he's looking pretty good.
Some August splits at the top of the strikeout leaderboard among some other stats for the New York Yankees. Cam Shitter.
Yeah.
No, okay. All jokes aside, though, I mean it.
You can come up with another name that's pretty close if you want to say it.
No, I
please don't.
I do. I'm giving McLean and Tong credit. So the only fair thing would also have to be to give Cam his due diligence here. I mean, in 6 games started, brilliant work in August, including at one point where he took a perfect game deep into the game. He has been nothing short of dazzling. Right. And again, in August, you can see it here. This is not some kind of cherry pick thing. Outdid Max Fried, outdid Carlos Rodon. I know the wins and losses don't look as pretty, but I don't particularly care because, I mean, you look at that work there, 33 innings pitched. So second in innings pitched, only behind Rodon, 1.6 ERA, great strikeout ratio, great whip, average against. I mean,
look at that. And look at that. I mean, look at the strikeout to walk too. Like, it's almost 4-1. Like, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. 39 strikeouts in 33 innings, 1.6 ERA. I'd be remiss not to mention someone on this list here. And you guys know exactly who I'm going to. And it pisses me off that he's pitching the 7th inning today. It's Luke Weaver. 1.23 ERA, 20 strikeouts in 14 innings. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, and if y'all watch the game today, it's like, oh, we're going to turn to Devin Williams in the 8th. Oh, we're going to turn to Camilo Duvall. Guess what happened? They let up 4 fucking runs. Like, why? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why do we keep handicapping ourselves and putting Luke Weaver in the 6th and 7th inning? This guy needs to be pitching in the ninth. He needs to be pitching in the ninth inning.
Yeah, I brought this
insane.
image up. No, I brought this image up for multiple reasons. I mean, I was going to bring up Cam. I was going to bring up Luis Gill having a solid month too. But we joke all the time about us being a Luke Weaver podcast, right? So I know that we have some bias inherently here. But the numbers are right in front of everybody for the screen. If you look at Bednar, you look at Duvall, you look at Yeri, you look at Tim. I mean, Fernando Cruz had a good few innings, but this isn't even an us New York Power Hour making an argument here thing. Luke Weaver was the most effective reliever for the Yankees last month. And yet, for some reason, the Yankees continue to hate Luke Weaver. It's actually really hard for me to understand it, right? Because look, 1.23 ERA, right? He cleaned up 14 innings, fine, 20 strikeouts, whip of .82, 154 average against. Those are closer numbers. He's fine. He's doing what you need him to do. Why is it that the Yankees hate Luke Weaver so much? I cannot wrap my head around it. And I know I'm not a Yankee fan, so it's not like easy for me to go ahead and like figure these things out on the fly, but I struggle to understand why they don't just give Luke Weaver more time. And I can't even ask you, Luke, because you agree with me. You
already know the answer. You already know the answer. And I know I've said this a million times. He did it. Like it's not even a
in
question.
The playoffs.
If he can do it, he's done it, and he did it at the most important time. Like why? Like why are we just ignoring that? Like why are we just ignoring the fact that he was your closer during the playoffs when you made it to the World Series? I have no idea. And I frankly, as a Luke Weaver fan, I hope he leaves New York. I honestly hope he leaves New York, and I hope he gets a big deal somewhere else. Because it's not fair. It's not fair to him at all.
Oh, I hope he stays in New York, but just goes to the other side of New York.
Yeah.
God. No, I mean, but it's here. He's outpitched Devin Williams. He even outpitched Bednar and Duvall and these guys who come in. I know Fernando Cruz has been solid, but it's not like he's really being picked above Weaver here. I don't know.
Listen, I can understand them going to Bednar because they traded for him.
Sure.
But when I go in there, I see Duvall on there. He has a save with a 4.76 ERA. And who I know, yes, they traded for 2, but they didn't trade for him to be the back-end closer. Weaver has a 1.23 ERA and has 0 saves. What are you doing?
Yeah. One of Camilo Duvall, 1 save, 3 save opportunities. 3. You blew 2 saves. David Bednar, 3 saves, 6 save opportunities. How?
Well, it wasn't like that. Camilo Doval wasn't demoted out of the closer role in San Francisco earlier.
Exactly. Exactly. Luke Weaver, 0 saves, 0 save opportunities. You gave 12 save opportunities between 3 guys, and they can only convert on 5 occasions. That's embarrassing. And you have a guy in your bullpen who can do it and continues to do it. And they just throw it to these other guys. I cannot stand the Devin Williams argument. Oh, we traded for him. What did you give up? What did you give up for him? You gave up Nestor Cortez, and he's not even pitching. He's not even pitching for Milwaukee anymore. Why? Why do we keep turning to him?
I don't know. Why do you?
I don't know, because Aaron Boone sucks. That's why.
I think it's more that Aaron Boone just does what he's told.
Yeah,
I don't think replacing Boone's going to change.
And that's what makes him suck. Like he has no feel for the game. He's just being fed the information. He's not playing his gut at all.
I don't think he's allowed to, though. I think that if he tried to go on his own, he would be relieved.
I don't know.
Oh, and
he did pitch today. He let up a scorching single to Alvarez, but Alvarez was on fire the whole game. And I think every ball that Alvarez put in play was over 100 miles per hour off the bat.
I want to throw this out there too to talk Yankees for August, right? I mean, this is the other side of the splits, right? This is the hitting, and as much as we love to torment Ash and things like that, it is kind of a wild thing to see that Trent Grisham is up there with Aaron Judge in terms of OPS for the month. But, my guy Giancarlo Stanton with a ridiculous month of August that he's still kind of keeping it going. 9 home runs, Rockets over there. He's figuring things out. I mean, do you you're my Yankees guy, Luke. What do you see on here that interests you? What do you want to bring up?
I mean, we can talk so much about Giancarlo Stanton with that 339 batting average right now. I mean, I know we talked a couple weeks ago about him being a future Hall of Famer. And we looked at seasons past. I have not seen a Giancarlo Stanton like this. Like, absolutely just crushing the cover off the ball right now. And it sucks. It sucks that we only had him for, the last chunk of the season, but he's looked great. I know he homered again today. I can't say enough nice things about Trent Grisham. A lot of it was, sarcastic at the beginning of the season, but I don't know. I think I got a text from a friend today. I think he said per dollar, your Trent Grisham take at the beginning of the season was the best take on the New York Power Hour. Like, how can you ask for any more for a guy who's being paid this amount and has such little expectations at the beginning of the season that outsiders look at him and say, well, he probably shouldn't even made the roster, and here he is putting up 20 plus home runs. He, has one of the highest OPSs last season on the team. And you knew he was going to have the great defensive metrics as well.
So he's played himself into what you would assume is at least another contract, right? Especially as we talk about this a lot.
Somebody's going to give him a 4-year deal.
Someone's going to, and he's going to make 15 plus a year. He's going to make 15 plus.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 4 years, 75. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too, Cody Bellinger's been hitting the ball really well as well too. I think he was player of the week last week. And he homered again today, 3-run home run. I think Cody Bellinger's been hitting the ball well. You start getting down on that list after Ben Rice, and it's like, oh man, Austin Wells sucks.
Yeah, it's like
Anthony Volpe sucks.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Ahmed Rosario.
We got him. We got Ahmed Rosario.
Yeah,
the best average of the month last year.
But Paul Goldschmidt. He's batting 254. He's not this. I don't think he's not the same power hitter he was 4 or 5 years ago. But he's gonna put the ball in play. He's gonna hit for average. Ryan McMahon, you didn't trade for him for his bat. You traded him so that he could play third base, and he's played a solid third base. And Ash's favorite prospect, Jason Dominguez, is cooling off a little bit. So yeah, you look after Ben Rice, and it's like, man, that's a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing, but Trent's been hitting the ball well. Stanton's hitting the ball well. Jasmine hitting the ball really well as well too. And Aaron Judge is gonna hit well. And it looks like he's starting to get on a heater again after being on the IL.
Yeah, Aaron Judge has long been looked at as like, if the Yankees go, Aaron Judge goes, kind of vice versa thing. Like, he's been the one who's carried them. Yeah, it is interesting to me here to think that Bellinger, at least tied here, and Jazz, Giancarlo Stanton, Grisham out homer him for the month. It felt like a quiet month for Judge, right? And he's still at least tracking to be in the MVP race against Cal Raleigh, who slowed down a little bit as well. So it's not like it was just him. But I did want to highlight on the negative side here. You mentioned the names, but like Anthony Volpe in August, that's a 191 average, a 602 OPS. He has been playing some below average baseball, because some of these other guys, Jose Caballero is arguably outproducing him right now. Yeah.
And there have been games where they started Jose Caballero at short. Whereas in previous years, Anthony Volpe has been high 150s start on 160, like just consistently your shortstop. And it doesn't seem like the Yankees front office has the confidence in Volpe anymore.
Is anybody else kind of getting Ruben Rivera vibes with the Martian? I know he says my favorite prospect. I don't know. Ruben Rivera just comes to mind when I look at what he's doing right now.
It's crazy too, and I might be misremembering here, but I feel like Jason Dominguez was like paralleled to Juan Soto, right?
Which is unfair.
It is
yeah,
unfair, but it also did happen. He was
Right.
getting very, very big. I mean, granted, New York prospects do get touted like to the moon in certain cases. We know this,
Right.
but Jason Dominguez was respected as a guy that could be. I mean, what 25,
a five-tool player.
5-tool guy, right? And so there was a lot of talk. I don't know.
Which was
Ruben
Ruben
Rivera might
Rivera.
be a little harsh, right?
No, I mean Ruben Rivera was pretty hype coming up. I mean,
Right, but I mean, like, do you think that like Dominguez isn't going to really like put much together? I think that I'm more concerned about like Volpe than I am about
Rivera
anything.
did have one 2020 season, so I mean, there's that. But
I think he's gonna be more of like a Pat Burrell type.
Pat Burrell.
that's
Wow.
totally not even the same profile.
The dude was like, first of all, third baseman. Was he was like a big burly dude too, right? Like he
Yeah,
wasn't
like
like
5 or something.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up Pat Burrell. All right, just let it go.
Why
just
are we
Why
bringing
did
up
you
Pat
want to bring
Burrell?
up Pat Burrell?
he's a Philly. Like, why would you want to bring him up?
Because
I
people
thought you
really
hated
excited.
Philadelphia.
People were really excited about Pat Burrell, and then it didn't really work out, even though they won a World Series and was there, and they went to the Giants and didn't really do anything.
Well, it's like I started to comp what Trent Grisham, like his next, his contract. We said 4 years, 75. I kind of feel like he's kind of on that Jason Hayward trajectory, where it looked like all of a sudden Hayward was getting ready to break out, and then he got that big deal from the Cubs, and it was just a total anchor.
Yep.
Ash, are you willing to live on this podcast apologize for your terrible Trent Grisham take in the beginning of the season?
No, because my take was based on what they should have done with the information that they had in the off season.
Yeah,
That doesn't change.
It's not about history. It's about projections. You got to be a better forecaster.
Yeah, everybody saw Trent Grisham having a 30 homer season.
Yep, I did. I did. I
This
forecasted it.
podcast did.
It's not just being a bench player.
I mean, it's on air, baby. It's there. Luke was defending. Luke was defending Trent Grisham like Peter was defending Brett Beatty. You know, like
We
these
gotta
things
go back
are on
and
air.
find that
And
clip.
look, we've both been proven right. Isn't this beautiful?
I wouldn't say
I mean,
you've
some
been
have
proven
been
right,
proven.
Peter. I don't know.
Some have been proven right more, but
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's an honest take. That's an honest take, Luke. I appreciate that.
Yes. Grisham is having a better year than Brett Beatty, but the way that Ram was talking about Brett Beatty, it was like he didn't even know how to hold a baseball.
I don't think he does. But
Well,
his own fiance asked him what it would be like if he was athletic, man. That was hurtful. You know, like she doesn't know.
You
what
know,
it's like.
have you guys kind of starting to feel like those clips are old now? Like every freaking athlete or former athletes, kids or spouses or sisters or brothers are doing that now. It's like
it was
okay,
a bit.
these were funny the very first time I saw them, but like now it's like stop doing them. It's cringe at this point.
Do you not like the look into like their lives or anything like that? As we wrap things up here, by the way, because we're gonna hit the hour and a half mark. But
It's just so clickbaity now.
Brett Beatty,
clickbaity.
master.
Beatty.
It's just
I walked
clickbaity. I
into
start
that
having
one.
like flashbacks, like but
Ash, why do you hate fun?
No, it was fun at
Don't
first.
make me tap the sign.
The Randy Johnson one that went around like April or something. I mean,
you
and
famed photographer Randy Johnson alongside famed photographer Ken
those
Griffey Jr.
pictures of him like with the camera mount and everything. Wasn't it the Masters where he was photo?
That's correct, yeah. And Ken
Photographer,
Griffey
yeah.
Jr. I think was there. I love both of them being photographers. That's what life
Peter
is
just
like
likes to
after.
stir the pot.
But
Yeah, it's
you
Italian,
know,
I'm making a
Luke,
nice
you didn't
sauce.
give your opinion. I mean, do you? How do you feel about this stuff? Are you social media'd out, or do you enjoy the look into their lives?
You're asking the wrong person. I think you already know the answer. I'm not on social media, so I don't get social media out.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. You wanted me to say that live on air. Hey, everybody, I'm not on social media. Please follow me on.
What was Gooden his first 4 starts? Just out of curiosity.
He did.
He was on coke.
Won 4 in a row. He was on coke. Yes.
Yeah, Peter. He was on coke. Yeah.
How good would the Mets dynasty have been if cocaine didn't exist?
Arguably, I would argue that cocaine and hookers is what propelled them into greatness.
I was gonna say if I'm gonna be really honest with you, the Mets would not have a 1986 World Series ship without cocaine.
I would say it gave them an advantage. It definitely gave them
It didn't
But
even
it
it didn't give
narrowed
him a
the window.
disadvantage. Luke. That didn't give him a disadvantage.
I would love Nolan McLean to be in the Dwight Gooden conversation for like, wow, how good this guy is so young. I'd also love to hope that he's not on cocaine. So I think that's where we're at right now. By the way,
Hopefully he's
Ed
not Mark
also
Pryor.
Ed saying that it definitely gave them an advantage. So I think the consensus opinion is that the 1986 Mets, fueled by cocaine, were better off because of cocaine. And I think it's important to make sure we talk about that. Thank you, Ed, for
Thank you, Ed.
agreeing with us here.
That's
And
great, Ed.
I feel bad because like Chris brought up a really good stat. I mean, second pitcher only, 4.0, sub 1.5 ERA. Fernando Valenzuela, by the way, beautiful. You know, like that's a great comparison in terms of like, wow, that's a nice name to be up there with. I think the record for MLB wins, by the way, which McLean's not even close to, I think is winning their first 11 starts. But he is the first starter to go 4-0, I think, in the last 11 years. So that is fun, at least. The Mets have got something working them for a little bit.
The
And
Mets can't develop starters, so it doesn't matter.
no. But
I don't understand. I don't understand that take. I don't understand that take. Right? You developed Jacob deGrom. You developed Noah Syndergaard. You developed the Dark Knight. What was his name?
Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey. Like
Zach Wheeler.
there has been development out of the Mets. You just haven't seen it in recent years.
I think I'm not my take on that. And I'll give you my final take for the night actually to wrap that up, because I think I've said before, and I'll say it on air, and I've said it in Discords and things like that the Mets have become one of the best pitching development organizations in the entirety of baseball. And I do not think this isn't a matter of opinion anymore. I do think it's a matter of fact. The Mets have the confidence in it. Other organizations and publications believe this, that the Mets are one of the top pitching development organizations in the entirety of the league. And it's not just dependent on McLean and Tong right now or Sproat. There's other guys in the system like Santucci, Jack Wenninger, Will Watson, and they feel comfortable pushing these guys and making something happen with them. I'm comfortable saying that. I do not think it's a matter of opinion anymore. I think it is a matter of fact. I've been saying it for a couple months, and it might have been homerish back then in the same way that, you could argue with me saying I was just saying it's because I'm a fan. But I think if it wasn't clear then, it's clear now. It's fact. The Mets are one of the best pitching development organizations right now in the entirety of Major League Baseball. And I love that, because I'm not looking for a flash in the pan World Series run. I want a dynasty. I want continued winning for the Mets for once in my goddamn life. Right? So I'm pretty confident. I don't really accept the take otherwise. And I'm comfortable saying it. I think that's where I'm at. Luke, I'll throw it to you. What are your last thoughts on the New York Power Hour today?
It's not going to be a New York Power Hour take. It's two. Congrats to Ole Miss on the win this weekend over Georgia Southern. Absolutely wiped the floor with them. Hotty toddy. So big win there. I don't know who they're playing this weekend, but they're probably going to beat them. It's going to be a big year in Oxford. I can feel it. And let's go Lions. Let's go Lions. There's as a Lions fans for over a decade now. I mean, there's been a lot of heartbreak. There's been a lot of disappointing seasons to look forward to. This is another season that I feel very excited about this team. I feel very excited about this culture, and I can't wait for the seasons to start from them. And going. I think we're playing in Lambeau this weekend, so excited to see them take down the Packers, who just acquired Micah Parsons, which will be interesting. But let's go Lions. Let's go Ole Miss.
And the Rebs are at Kentucky this week, so the Rebs are definitely going to get a win this week.
Yep, easy win.
Ash, what are your last thoughts for tonight?
Thank you guys. It's been a great show. Thanks everybody for commenting in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if it's first time coming around. Appreciate having you back. Thank you guys, Ram, Peter, and Luke, for joining us on the show tonight.
Peter, what do you got for me? Close us out. Bring us home.
So before I get to my final point, if you would give me the moment to piggyback slightly over what you said, Buster Only on April 12th, 2024, put out an article and it said, and I quote, "The Mets won't contend again this year or anytime soon. Their farm system is devoid of high-end pitching prospects." So, just to show you how smart Buster Only is. But anyway, let me get into my point. So the Mets recently promoted Kevin Parada from Double A to Triple A. Just kidding. That's not my final point. My final point is actually a question. And Ash, I'm going to ask you most of these questions as the neutral party here. Ash, is a 31 home run season a good season?
I mean, yeah, that's good production. As long as you're, I mean, if you went 31 for 550 at the plate, I would say no. But like,
is 91 RBIs a good season? Remember, this is current. This is now. It's not like
it depends on the other stuff.
Okay. 0.259 average. It's okay. It's not great. It can be better, right?
Did you say 0.295? Like, who says that?
Sorry, 0.259. Yeah. 2.59.
259. 259. 259. He's in at a 259 clip.
That's just
Luke
okay.
is like, I'm on your side, but I need you to use the
it should
numbers.
be considered bad, but
I need you to not call it ribs and instead of RBIs.
All right.
Ribs, baby.
So
it should be BI, to be honest. It's ours BI.
Okay.
Ours
So,
BI.
Runners batted in.
Boo! I don't like that take.
Ours
RBIs makes no sense. You don't say runs bad. A run batted ends.
Yeah, but you like when you
runs
abbreviate
batted
things,
in.
do you include the last letter in what you're abbreviating? It's RBI. It's runs. Like it's just R.
RBI.
It starts with an R, Ash. Like what? Like
You don't say run batted ends.
I don't know why this is aggravating me so much. No, it's not RBI. It's just RBI, bro.
Run
like,
batted
what are you
ends.
talking about?
Luke hasn't
Can
been this mad
finish his questions.
He hasn't been this mad
RBI.
since he tried to explain to Peter what the Long Island Railroad was.
No, Peter tried explaining what the Long Island Railroad is. Like, I'm some jackass that's not from Long Island. Like, get out of here.
I like how he pulled his accent out right at the end of that.
All right.
There was no accent, and then all of a sudden, like the last two words or something.
Peter,
you've just evoked Long Island out of me.
Go ahead, Peter. You were on 0.259s and ribs.
All right. So a 399 OBP. It's pretty good, right?
Andrew, is it runs batted in or run batted ends?
Okay. So Ash, can you answer my question?
I don't think we're getting an answer.
All right. OBP 399. It's pretty good, right?
What did you say?
399 OBP. Is that good?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
That's really good.
A 521 slug. Is that pretty good?
A what?
521 slug. Is that pretty good?
Yes.
Okay. So would you argue that this man's having a good season?
I mean, it sounds like that OPS sounds pretty damn good. How many at bats is this?
491.
Yeah, it sounds like a good year.
Yeah, but I was told Juan Soto's having a down year. So like, if
okay,
this is
but
Juan
I was
Soto's
on
down
that.
year,
I've already defended him.
Okay, this is my point. This is not your point. If Juan Soto, this is a down year for Juan Soto. For the love
we got
of
an
God,
answer. We got an answer. The second one sounded better.
Let the next 15 years be down years.
RBI.
Also, he has 27. He has 27 stolen bases to add to that. This man is about to hit 40 home runs, 100 RBIs, and have 30 stolen bases for a season. That shit hasn't been done since the 90s. So please have more down seasons, Juan Soto. This is fantastic.
How many RBIs?
Who is saying Juan Soto's having a bad year?
A lot of people started the season. Luke is there.
Luke is saying it, apparently.
Yeah, he's just sad. He's just sad in Queens.
Yeah.
He looks
now
very
you can't
sad.
see him anymore.
He's very sad. He's very sad.
I think I'm just cutting all of you off after RBIs. All right, we're gonna wrap up for the night.
Somehow that's worse than ribs.
Always wrap it up.
RBI.
We always find.
Get on the train.
Long Island Railroad.
Get on the Luke Island Railroad, folks.
And dump Trent Grisham.
God.
Ghost Runner.
We will see you.
Oh, it's not a ghost runner. There's a real life person. There's a real life person on second base. It's an automatic runner.
We will see you in a week.
Did you not ever play wiffle ball?